Alright, so some of you guys don't know how to correctly build your brawlers because let's face it, some of you guys are absolutely stupid. And as a pro player who actually is one of the best, just mechanically gifted, a brilliant, super smart, 6 foot rich, just esport players in general in the game, I actually know how to build my brawlers correctly with precise and amazing precision. And I'm gonna help you guys because some of you guys are running the wrong builds, especially in ranked. So yeah, we're basically gonna not we, but me, myself, I'm gonna show you guys what's the best build for all 90 brawlers. And these builds are literally pro verified. You feel me? Alright, so let's hop right in. Let's start from rarity descending. Alright, so first off is Shelly. Pretty mid brawler, I'm not gonna cap. I would say Shelly's like mid D tier maybe. So yeah, there's basically two builds for Shelly, but like this first build, you're gonna run 99.9% of the time. First star power, just go shell shock with you can go like damage or speed gear. And for the gadget, you always want to run clay pigeons. I swear if I catch one of you guys running the fast forward gadget, bad things will happen. Of course, unless you're like a TikToker getting like brawl ball clips and 200 cup ladder, then yeah, be my guest. You can use like this fast forward gadget and get some closer TikTok, but please just go clay pigeons. And for the other build I talked about, you could go band-aid, but you're only gonna really run band-aid when you're playing like bounty or knockout. And for the gears, you can go like shield instead of speed. Basically like any survivability, you go like shield and like health. That's only when you're playing knockout and bounty. And still, you can even run shell shock in bounty, or in knockout you like super someone, clay pigeons, and you just touch them and just kill them. So yeah, next up is Nita. Nita is actually like trash now, but in case like one of you weirdos out there is running Nita in 2025, again, there's two builds. So 99% of the time you're gonna be running the bear with me star power, like brawl ball, hot zone, what else, like only those two modes. If I like, you're definitely not gonna be playing Nita in bounty or knockout. I mean, at least I hope not. And for the gadget, just go the shield one. Gives your super like a nice big shield. And for the gears, always go speed gear. Nita is actually a very slow brawler. I mean, she's pretty fast like default, but you want to be as fast as possible, especially with like spawner type brawlers like Nita. So always go speed gear. You can switch it up with like damage or speed. I mean, not damage or speed, but like damage and shield. Shield is actually pretty good on Nita. You can sacrifice some damage and just go for some survivability. You know what I'm saying? But generally, speed and damage on the gears. And if you're playing Nita and Heist, obviously just go the hyper bear and just keep the shield. Obviously, sometimes though, if you know you're gonna face tanks, you can go like the stun gadget. But me personally, even though if I'm facing tanks, I always go the shield gadget. Basically, just always run shield. You can switch to star power depending if you're playing Heist or not. Yeah, that's it. Next up with Colt. I would say Colt is currently maybe C tier, maybe B tier in this meta. He's only really good in Heist. Let's be honest, only good in Heist, but he's really good in Heist. I think he's like top 3 picks in Heist. So for the build, always go Magnum Special. In maps like Safe Zone where you really can't hit the safe without this one, the star power is very useful. And for the gears, I always suggest go reload. Always go the reload gear with, you can pair it up with damage too. Like even if you get like, one time in the safe with damage gear, you do a flip ton of damage. And for the gadget, always go reload. Look at that. It's 11 seconds. So you can actually run the gadget cooldown gear alongside this reload gear and just like absolutely shred through people. So yeah, this is basically the only build you want to be going for Colt. You know what I'm saying? If you're running the other gadget for some reason, just don't. It's an even worse gadget and it's like for some reason even longer than the other ones. So yeah, just go this build, man. My next build is with the big juicy bull. I would say bull is maybe, honestly, he's probably like low C tier, high D tier. He is good, but he's definitely not the best tank out there. Unless you're like, Pika, then you can basically make bull work anywhere. But I can guarantee you guys right now, none of you guys are Pika because you guys suck completely. Anyway, those are for the build. There's basically two builds you can go for bull, but I usually just go tough guy. You got a shield when you're low HP. Always go the tough guy star power and speed and damage. Always go speed and damage. Just always go speed and damage. But in case you're running in case you're like playing bull in a map with no bushes, you can actually get the super rare gear. Not this one. This one, the supercharged gear. You can pair this up with the damage gear in maps like hot potato. Basically an NA heist map actually. Basically just like charge your super pretty fast. With the tank trait, you can go that, super epic gear with the damage. And for the gadget, it honestly depends. But me personally, I always like to run Stomper. The heal one is actually not that bad, but I suggest just always go Stomper if you're like poor and can only afford one gadget. So only go Stomper. And sometimes if you're playing heist, you can actually go the Berserker star power. This is actually a very underrated star power, so if you guys want to run it, both star powers are good, but in general, I would always go tough guy. In case you have no V-Bucks to afford both of them, just go tough guy. Next up is Brockington. By the way, Hot Rock Brock is the only Brock skin you should be running, and I would say he's personally maybe I would say he's like mid-low B tier. He's not even that bad, honestly. He's probably like low B tier, high C tier, really good in heist. You can honestly maybe run him in layer cake. Honestly, you can run him in like knockout, bounty, and yeah, basically that's in heist too. So yeah, like low B tier, high C tier, pretty good. And for the build, if you're running Brock in anything but heist, just go the rocket number 4 with the damage and reload. You can also go shield and reload since Brock doesn't have that much HP, but generally though, damage and reload with the 4 Brock rockets. And for the gadget, always go rocket fuel. Break and open the map is very crucial with Brock, but in cases where your teammates are like short range brawlers, then just try to be a good teammate and understand when to break the walls, because I know some of you guys out there who are playing Brock don't know when to break the walls and when you should and when you shouldn't. And if you're facing like assassins like Fang, Edgar, Miko, or something like that, you can go rocket laces for tanks. But if you're poor and have no money and struggle to get a McDonald's application, just go rocket fuel. And if you're playing heist, obviously just go the more rockets. But generally though, you can still go rocket number 4 in heist if you're broke. So yeah, next up is Primo. I personally love playing Primo. I just love just beating people in game, of course. I would say Primo is maybe mid B tier. He's actually pretty good in Brawl Ball. Actually, no, I would probably say he's like low B tier, high C tier, same as Brock. He's only really good in Brawl Ball, maybe in heist. Not really many modes you can use him, but for the build, I would suggest going speed. If you think you gotta like that, you know, like finesse and Brawl Ball, like you think you're a really good goal scorer, or you think you're messy in the battlefield, then go speed, because like speed helps you get those goals in, you feel me? And obviously, if you're a Ronaldo fan, you can go the no skill El Fuego, because Ronaldo sucks and people who run this star power sucks. Besides Naui, of course. Naui is my favorite pro player and he runs the star power, but he's a very rare exception. I know damn well none of you guys can ever compare to Naui. So yeah, generally just go the speed star power if you're like that, and if you think you're not like that, obviously just go El Fuego. And for the gears, always go speed and epic gear. Even if it's like maps with no grass, always go with speed gear, because Primo needs that little bit of grass to like make some plays, you know what I'm saying? Obviously the epic gear to charge is super faster, and if you actually pair your super gear with the star power, it actually charges a lot. So yeah, you like cycle your super like infinitely with this build that I currently have right now. And for the gadget, always just go suplex. You really like basically having the asteroid star power is counterintuitive when playing Primo, because you don't want to open the map up, but in very rare cases where your comp is like a B or a Griff and you have a Primo for some reason, so yeah, just break open the wall. But in general, just always go this one. And basically, if you have skill, go Meteor Rush. If you don't have skill, go El Fuego. But if you're free to play, I would suggest going Meteor Rush and trying to get good at Primo. So yeah, next up is Barley. I would say Barley is maybe, I would say mid C tier, low C tier. He hasn't been really meta lately. It's probably because like there's just infinite amounts of better throwers now in the game. But he's really good in heist. Like Barley's really good in heist. And by the way, Bake Sale Barley. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, this is the best. This is the best skin I've ever since this skin came out. I've been genuinely enjoying playing Barley. I've been called weird names for running this Barley skin. I don't really care. This skin is sick. Anyways though, for the build, first star power, it's actually very dependent. But me personally, I like to run the damage, because you never know when you need that extra damage, especially in heist where you want to do damage. Obviously, if you're like by yourself on the safe with the star power, you do a boatload of damage. And for the gears, damage and speed are my go-tos, but you can also opt to run the shield gear instead of speed, because you know Barley doesn't have that much star HP. And also a rule of thumb that I like to do when I'm playing Barley is that if I'm playing the damage star power, I actually like to pair it up with the shield, because obviously you're not going to be healing. But if you're running like the medical use star power, you're gonna be healing every time you shoot, so you can actually go like speed damage. But if you're not, you can like still go to speed damage, but you'll have less HP obviously and less survivability. And for the gadget, always go herbal tonic. This is like for people who like just love to play as a team, and obviously Brawl Stars is a team game. You selfish bastards out there who are running sticky syrup, even if you're facing a tank, this really doesn't do much. You actually get more value off of healing your teammates than just like pissing on the floor every 18 seconds. So obviously just please don't do that. Toxic PP or healing PP, just go to healing PP for your teammates. Obviously just like splash it on the floor, boom, you heal up, and it pairs really great with this star power. So yeah. Oh my god, he's a Poco. Oh my god, he's a Poco. Poco's actually one of my favorite brawlers. He's really meta right now, unfortunately. I would say he's probably like mid A tier or high A tier even. You can pair him up with literally any brawler and it will work. That's how broken he is. By the way, this is the best Poco skin. Un poquito loco, you feel me? And for the build, I would always suggest to go Decapo or, you know, like extra healing for your teammates, because you're mostly going to be running Poco with like a tank. But if you're not running Poco with a tank and it's like, you know, anything but tanks, I would suggest you go Screech switching solo. And for the gears, damage and the reload for your gadget are what I recommend for gears. Obviously, you can go like speed if you really want to, but generally though, you want to have your gadgets up as much as possible since both of them have really high cooldowns. And for the gadgets, it actually depends. Say you're playing a comp that has 2 tanks and you're facing like a B or a Gale or a Frank even. Basically anything that has like CC. And if you are stupid and you don't know what CC is, it's called crowd control. Like anything that like, you know, like crowd controls basically. Like Gale supers, Gale stuns, B slows, just any slows or anything like that. I would suggest going protective tunes every 18 seconds paired up with the super rare gear, which reduces your gadget. It's actually really good. So yeah, run that if you're facing like a Maisie, for example, or like a B, as I said. This even works on Byron and like poison. So if you're facing a Crow or a Byron, definitely run this gadget. Like if you pop this gadget and a Byron shoots at you, you do not take any poison damage, which is actually insane work from Supercell, but like Supercell really doesn't care. So yeah, this works on literally any poison. Byron basic attacks, Crow basic attacks, Crow poison, Gale stuns, Gale slows. Even the Byron super. If you get Byron super and you pop this gadget, it actually cancels it out before and after, no matter when you do it. But if you're not facing obviously any crowd control, you can just go to tuning for it. So yeah, basically like Poco is broken and you can run whatever build you want. So yeah. Next up is Rosa. You know, if you're playing Rosa in 2025, you need some mental help because this brawler is absolute trash. And I'm actually glad because I remember when Rosa was meta when she came out, it was like top 3 worst things to ever happen to Brawl Stars. So I would say she's like bottom D tier because she's just so whack. But in case you're one of those weirdos playing Rosa, I would suggest always going thorny gloves. And for the gears, damage and speed. And for the gadget, it honestly depends. If you're a person who doesn't take showers, I would suggest going grow light. If they don't have anything to like break the grass, like an amber or like a coal or like anything that breaks the grass basically, I would suggest going this gadget and just spawning infinite bushes. The reason why is because this thing is 13 seconds long. And if you want to be a bigger weirdo, you can pair it up with the gadget cooldown gear and just spam grass everywhere and just be a nuisance and spam the grass. You can even go with like the plant lifestar power so you heal in the grass, which makes you further evolving from a loser to an even bigger loser. And if you even if you like pair a Poco with that, you evolve from a super loser to a degenerate. Ooh. So yeah, there's like infinite possibilities. But generally though, thorny gloves, the slow gadget, speed and damage. So yeah, don't ask me why I have vision on Rosa. Next up is Jessie. Jessie actually has fallen off pretty hard, which is a bit unfortunate. I would say she's maybe like high D tier, mid D tier. She's only really good in heist, maybe in hot zone. Besides that though, she's really useless. For the build though, always go energize. If you're one of the stinky people out there running Shocky for some reason, just don't. Just always go energize. You heal your turret. And for the gears, go speed and damage. But if there's no grass, you can go like shield, maybe even the pet power gear. But generally though, speed and damage or your go-to. And for the gears, it honestly depends. If you're playing Jessie anywhere but heist, always go the slow one. Spark plug. Why they name it like that? Hella pause on that. And if you're playing obviously Jessie in heist, you want to go the recoil spring, which basically feeds your turret an unhealthy amount of drugs and does hella damage to the safe. And you pair it up with star power, basically cannot die. So yeah, Dynamike. Yeah, I don't like this brawler. Like look at his ugly little smile, little one tooth sticking out. Fun fact, the reason why Mike only has one tooth is because me and Mike actually got into a big fight and I knocked his like teeth out type beat. So yeah, Mike is actually maybe like mid B tier, low B tier. He's actually pretty good in like a lot of modes. I would say he's good in brawl ball, hot zone, heist, any mode with walls. Really, you can make him work anywhere. And for the build, please don't go Dyna jump. Just if you're a TikToker in like a 200 cup lobby, as I said before, then sure, you can go Dyna jump all you want. But always go demo with the speed and the damage gears. And for the gadget, I swear, if oh my goodness, if I see one of you guys running the fidget spinner star or gadget, I genuinely hope that your mother just comes down and beats you. There's no reason for you to run this gadget. Please just go stun. Trust me, like even if you don't hit your stuns, just one stun a game will make the difference. Trust. You can even go like the reload gear if you think you cannot hit your stuns at all. But I would always suggest going speed because like like when you speed in the grass, will sneak up the grass, get really fast. Speed gear helps you hit your supers, your attacks, pretty much everything about your kit is all about hitting shots. And speed gear helps you even if there's like little grass. I would still recommend going speed. Besides that though, this is the build you want to go. Next up is Tick. I have my bronze 3. The fact that I even have a single mastery on this brawler just says so much about me. And I am one of the biggest losers out there. But anyways, if you're playing Tick, he's only really good in knockout or bounty. If you're playing Tick in hot zone, and if you're one of those people watching right now, I hate you. You don't know how many times I've been playing ranked and for some reason someone's like, yes, I think Tick will be an amazing pick here. If you're one of those people, genuinely, what is wrong with you? Stop what you're doing and just think about your life. Anyways though, for the build, you want to be always going well oiled. I don't really know, like now thinking thinking about it, well oil is kind of a crazy star power name, but we move. And for the gears, always go mythic gear and shield. Tick literally has no HP, so please just go shield. And if you pair it up with a nice mythic gear, your super gets like 1,000 extra health, and I think it's literally mandatory for you to have this gear. If you don't have this gear, you're kind of throwing. And for the gadget, always go last hurrah. Please don't go mind mania. It's useless. Okay, it doesn't do anything. But second best, you can pop this gadget and put it on the zone. No, you're not even supposed to be running tick in the first place in hot zone. Just go last hurrah. All right. Next up is 8-bit. By the way, I spent like 30 bucks on this skin when it came out. I think it's cheaper now, and honestly, I just love Supercell for that. Always making me feel special when I spend money in this game. Just love it, honestly. Anyways, though, for the build, you want to be going boosted booster. This gives your turret more range, and if you have like this is basically good for your teammates. Like if you're a team player and a normal person, always go in boosted booster, especially when you're playing like bounty or knockout. You have like a Mandy or a Piper, you pairing up with this. Ooh, gonna be absolutely banging. But honestly, I would say 8-bits maybe like mid B tier, maybe even high B tier, considering you can run them in pretty much every single mode besides Brawl Ball. Hot Zone is really good, Bounty is really good, Knockout is pretty good. I wouldn't say Knockout really, but you get the gist. 8-bit is like a control brawler, which actually really shines when it gets his turret and setup. And for the gears, I recommend always going reload. 8-bit really doesn't have that much reload if you don't have this gear. And for the other gear, damage, you can even go vision, heal, health gear, shield, whatever. Depends on what you want to go, but always 100% run the reload gear. And for the gadget, honestly depends. If you're playing like a control mode like hot zone, go TP. But if you're playing 8-bit anywhere, but if you're playing 8-bit in heist, I always suggest going extra credits. You like pop this gadget on the save and just dish out lots of damage. And it's every 11 seconds, which is actually one of the lowest cooldowns in the whole game. But even then though, you can even run the TP gadget in heist and play fully control. So there's really no wrong star power in heist or gear or gadget. I mean, damn, I'm so stupid. You got the gist. You feel me? So yeah. Next up is Rico. This is a skin you want to be running, by the way, King Rico, one of the cleanest skins in the game. Anyways, the build you want to be running is super bouncy. If you're one of those people who really likes the speed Rico star power, I'm gonna bounce my fist on your face. Only like genuine losers go this star power. Like it's so annoying. It doesn't do anything. You're just annoying little rat, little mosquito. When I see a speed Rico in overtime in Brawl Ball, it reminds me of like an insect flying in the air, like a fly, an annoying little fly. It doesn't do anything. It like tickles you. It just flies around and annoys you. That's what you people are. That's exactly what you guys are. So please just go super bouncy with the reload gear. You can even go, I just always go the reload gear for Rico. You can pair it up with like vision gear if it's bushes, damage, speed, whatever. There's no wrong way to play Rico until you select this star power. Besides that though, please always go the gadget. But if you're playing like Rico and like knockout, maybe you can go bouncy castle, but just go the gadget. And for his tier, I would say he's maybe like mid B tier, low B tier. He's good in gem grab, he's good in hot zone. He's not good in hot zone. He's good in Brawl Ball and maybe knockout and bounty, depending on the map, obviously. But he's a pretty solid brawler. Next up is Darryl. Dump Ring Darryl is actually top 10 skins in this game. Hella iconic. And for the star power, you want to be going steel hoops, and I always suggest going speed and damage on the gears. And for the gadget, always go tar barrel. Unless you're playing heist, I would suggest going the recoiling rotator and the rolling reload. Basically, this is the build you want to be going for heist, and this is the build you want to be going anywhere but heist. Even then though, in rare cases where you're playing heist and it's like 3 brawlers in the enemy team that are just so cancer to play against as Darryl, I would suggest going the shield one. You can actually, instead of playing for damage on the save, you can like roll on the enemies, kill them, and then go on the save. So yeah, even though like if you're poor, basically if you have no money, this is the build you always want to be going no matter what. It's reliable, it's good, just go with it. Next up is Penny. I'm actually like really sad that Penny actually like fell off in the meta. I would say she's currently like low B tier, mid B tier at best, maybe even high C tier. That's just I just love playing Penny, and unfortunately there's just too many good brawlers out there now. For the build though, I always suggest going heavy coffers with the speed and the damage gears on top of that. If you're playing a map with lots of bushes and stuff, vision is the way to go. If you're asking like if pet gear is ever worth it, I don't think it's ever worth it no matter what brawler it is. Like Nita, does Nita even have a pet gear? I don't even know. I don't really care. Basically, you never want to run this gear ever unless it's like there's like no reason for you to run speed gear. I don't know. Like I think it's just way better gears than just pet gear. Shield, vision, damage is way better. This is the build you want to be going. And for the gadget, always go salty barrel. If you're good enough, you can actually like if you're like facing a tank and you pop down the barrel, there's a chance you can like 8k them. And if you have like damage gear, you can like 9k them or something. Close range. So always go this gadget. This one is absolutely useless. I've actually seen a couple of TikTokers out there who are making TikTok clips of this gadget. Please stop with that propaganda. You're poisoning the youth's brain with your disgusting TikToks. So please, this is the build you want to be going. If you're asking asking about the Master Blaster, are we kidding me? Some crazy names from Supercell, but if you're asking if I should run the star power or when you should run it, the answer is never. Even if you're facing tanks, I heavily suggest you don't do this. The reason being, as I said before, if you actually learn the penny trick where you pop your barrel on top of the tank that you're like getting touched by and you like auto aim the barrel, you can kill them pretty easily, doing like 7k damage. So yeah. Next up is Carl. Hey, this is like top 3 of my favorite brawlers in the whole entire game, and he's actually very meta right now. I would say he's S tier, high like low S tier, high A tier. He's definitely one of the top brawlers out there right now. My bad. By the way, this is literally my favorite skin. This is my favorite skin in the whole game. I love this skin. Like, look at this happy little smile. Actually amazing. And for the build, I always recommend going Protective Pirouette. Carl is good in every single mode. Every single mode. Hockey Brawl, Brawl Ball, Hot Zone, Bounty, Brawl Ball, Heist, Brawl Ball. He's also good in Hockey Brawl and Brawl Ball. And for the build, Speed and the super rare reload gear are my go-tos personally, but obviously not everyone has my cup of tea per se. So you can go like Speed, Vision, you can go whatever you want. You can even go Shield, Speed. Every gear is good for Carl. And for the gadget, the reason why Carl is actually meta right now is because of this gadget right here. Unfortunately, it's not my favorite Carl playstyle, but we have to get with the times. Back in the Unk era, you feel me? You actually just go like the flying hook and just like flying hook on people and just like absolutely demolish them. But unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, as times move on, we have to go the heat ejector star power or the gadget. I'm pretty sure you do like 700 damage 7 times if you hit this. So like you like gadget the enemy or gadget the safe, you do lots of damage. But if you're like looking for a solid one-time build, this is the build you want to be going. This is my personal favorite. And if you're broke, just go whatever I have here. All right, if you're broke like me, have no money, this is what you want to go. Next up is Jacky. Like Jacky is just like dookie buns now. You don't run Jacky willingly. Like this brawler is so unfun and so disgusting. Like me personally, if I see a Jacky, you know, in ladder, I'm like, wow, that guy really woke up this morning, brushed his teeth, ate breakfast, took a shower, lived his whole entire day up until this moment to play Jacky. What a sad life to live. But if you're one of those people who, you know, willingly play Jacky and are like, yeah, this is my favorite brawler, this is the build you want to be going. So for the star power, hard hat is not the star power you want to be running. You want to be going Counter Crush. Counter Crush does lots of extra damage, and honestly, you really don't get that many kills with Jacky unless you have the star power. And for the gears, I always suggest going speed and damage because you really want to just be like going in and dying shamelessly and just getting kills. So you always want to be doing this over and over until you get your hyper, and then you do it again, and then you die, use your hyper, use your super, and then it's just a big endless cycle of fatherlessness. And for the gadget, always go the pneumatic booster. Basically, you become Usain Bolt and you become really fast, which is the only really good one. If please don't use this one. What is wrong with you? All right, don't use the rebuild gadget. Just be normal. So yeah, next up we got Gus, probably one of the most broken brawlers yet the most underrated. I would say right now he's currently like mid B tier, low B tier. The fact that this brawler is in B tier, despite how annoying and broken he is actually insane. So for the build, always go spirit animal. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of spirit animal, my spirit animal is a bag of Doritos on a winter night with some hot cocoa. You feel me? If the gears right now, I have like speed and vision, but you don't have to go that. I think like Gus is like a mid brawler. You can play him in gem grab. You can also play him in knockout and surprisingly enough, he actually received some nerfs some time ago, and he's still like incredibly broken. And he's gonna be getting a hypercharge soon. If you guys are wondering what the hypercharge looks like, I assume it will probably be something around his super. And Gus's hypercharge, or at least mean his super, is like broken too. If you're wanting this star power, you like pop your shield on yourself and do a lot of damage. On top of the fact that you have like this gadget, which is like top 3 gadgets in the game. So for the build though, you want to be going spirit animal, gadget, kooky popper. Every 16 seconds you get like the disgusting like 2k damage. And for the gears, spirit vision is pretty good. You go like speed, damage. You can even go the gadget cooldown. Shield is good too. Even health, like it's mid brawler, gem grab. You're gonna be using Gus as a mid. So yeah, any of these gears are really good for Gus depending on what you're playing. Grassy maps, go vision, speed. You know what I'm saying? Just it is what it is. Next up is Bo. Actually, Bo has been becoming a lot more meta lately with his hypercharge. He's actually moved up, I think, into A tier, honestly. I would think he's a solid A tier brawler. He actually does a lot of damage. And obviously, if you hit one of your mines, like guaranteed kills is especially useful in like Bounty, KO, modes where dying or getting a kill is nice and important, you feel me? For the build though, always go snare bear, snare a bear, you feel me? And for the gears, I like to go reload and damage, but I recommend heavily you always run this epic gear and then you like switch out. For example, if you're playing like a bushy map, just go vision. You go speed 2, shield, reload, whatever. But yeah, and for the gadget, it's actually the really I don't really, it's not Nintendo dependent, you know what I'm saying? It's like whatever. Me personally, I like to go to super totem. I don't really use it for like, you know, helping me get my super. I mostly use it to tank like a Piper shot or like a Brock shot or like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just like a tank extra shot and like K or bounty. But in modes where you want to break the wall, tripwire is actually pretty good. And it's only like 8 seconds, so you can like break the wall fairly quickly if you're like that. So but anyways, I always recommend going super totem. You know, nothing wrong with getting a little bit extra super and you can tank some shots with it. But yeah, I don't have the hypercharge. So, and if anybody want to sponsor me a bow hypercharge, please do so. Next up is M's. Not gonna lie, even with M's hypercharge, she's still pretty butt. Like she doesn't really fare well in this meta. I would say she's like low C tier, maybe even D tier. The reason why is because a lot of the brawlers nowadays are like fast moving brawlers who close in on you, and obviously M's biggest weakness is assassins or just anyone who gets close in your face. And the only thing M's has going for her is her friend zoner gadget, and it's every 18 seconds, and like that isn't clearly enough to deter all assassins. Pretty ironic that it's called friend zoner because all throughout high school, middle school, elementary school, pretty much all my whole entire life, I've never gone past the friend zone. But honestly, this is why I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to help all my viewers get out of that friend zone and get some fat juicy elo in ranks. Alright, anyways though, enough for my self-deprecating life stories, you feel me? For the build, bad karma is the way I want to go. This gives you extra damage. And for the gears, speed and damage is actually very good, considering M's wants to get into like, you know, their faces and stuff. So I always recommend going speed. You can all go damage and like dish out a ton of damage if you have like the bad karma star power on. And for the gadget, obviously go friend zoner. The other gadget should like in theoretically be good, but in actuality it's not, because there's just so many tanks, so many brawlers who can close the distance within you, and you really want to have that insurance policy, you know what I'm saying, when they get close to you. Like me personally, I wish I had this gadget in real life whenever someone comes close to me, because I get pretty nervous around people, especially women, you feel me? They're just scary creatures, and I'm not one to handle, you know, like in-person interactions, you feel me? Like I don't really do all that. Anyways though, next up is Stu. It's a very disgusting brawler. If you're one of those people who have 0 ping and you play this brawler, screw you, alright? You're the cancer of this game, honestly. I would say Stu is probably high A tier, honestly. I honestly think he's like top 10 brawlers almost. High A tier, almost even S tier. This brawler is actually disgustingly broken, and he's always been a top priority pick in drafts for the past like year and a half of Brawl Star Esports. And yeah, it's on a hella cringe saying that out loud. Brawl Stars Esports, what the anyways though, for the build, also the skin is this is the most fire skin, by the way. This skin is actually clean. There's also the Patchy Pirate Stu. Only real ones know who Patchy Pirate is. Rest in peace, my goat. Anyways though, for the build, always go Gasso heal. This gives you HP whenever you dash, and if you're like me and absolutely mechanically gifted, I will always get my dash every single time I shoot, you know what I'm saying? And for the gears, it honestly depends really, but I always suggest always going shield gear. Stu really doesn't have that much HP, so you definitely need some shield. You don't have to go it though, obviously. You can go like glass cannon Stu if you're really confident in your ability, so you know, dash and dodge and shoot and all that good stuff, you feel me? But and for the other gear, you can swap it out with like vision. You can go damage, speed even. If there's bushy maps, you always want to have vision. Even in maps like Hard Rock Mine, you always want to be going vision. Just maps like that, honestly. And for the gadget, it actually depends now, considering the speed zone gadget for Stu actually got a big nerf. Not only did they increase the time, I think, but they also gave it a DK. So even if your Stu turret doesn't get like hit, it dies after I think like 10 seconds. So it's like, honestly, the other gadget could be better. There really isn't like a gadget you would really want to go for. But if you're broke and can only afford one, I think you just get the speed zone. Even for those like 10 to 15 seconds, you have extra speed. It's gonna be really worth it in the beginning of the game. So yeah, just go the speed zone. And obviously, if you're facing tanks, go the other gadget so you can break the walls and make the map more open. But besides that though, always go speed zone. And for the gears, just switch it up depending on the map you're playing. Alright, next up is Piper. Oh my goodness, I've been waiting for this. Piper is definitely one of my favorite brawlers in the whole entire game. Not only do I think her design is absolutely fantastic, Brawl Stars genuine, like the Supercell dev team just like cooked with this brawler. Probably top 5 most skilled brawlers in the game. Obviously, if you remove like the banana gadget and the auto aimer, but besides that, anything else regarding Piper is just pure skill. Hitting shots with Piper is probably like top 5 most satisfying things. And this skin, don't get me started on the lunar Piper. This is the like top 3 best skins along along with Froggy Carl. Anyways though, unfortunately, she isn't that meta now. I would say she's like high B tier, mid B tier, maybe A tier if I'm feeling, I'm feeling nice about it. But regardless though, she used to be really meta, now she's not, unfortunately. There's just too many broken brawlers released. Thank you, Brawl Stars. But for the build, always go snappy sniping. You know what I'm saying? Once you hit like a shot, you get another shot, you know what I'm saying? Just pure skill. A very rewarding star power for like skill players with their shots. And for the gears, I always suggest going shield. Reason being, obviously, Piper does not have that much health. And for the other gear, I always like to go the reload gear so I can like spam the gadgets, you know what I'm saying? And to be honest, homemade recipe should be like 25 seconds or something. But since it's 18, you go this other gear, you can make like 16 and a half. Yeah, imagine like a Piper curve every 15 seconds. Absolutely dirty, honestly. But you obviously don't have to go that. You can go the full glass cannon build and go like damage in this reload gear. This is what I usually go in a heist, just to get like the extra damage, you know what I'm saying? But it's up to you guys. You can even go vision on Piper on like bushy maps, on like Hard Rock for example, last up, all that. But it honestly depends on what you guys. But I generally like to go this build. It's so well balanced and so rewarding if you just like stay alive, hit your curves, hit your shots and all that. So this is a build I generally would recommend you guys get. All right, next up is Pam. Unfortunately, she is some hot mid. I'm pretty sure there's like the egg Pam that just came out. Don't play that skin. Please don't play any of the egg skins. It looks absolutely horrendous, obviously. And I would say she's maybe like mid D tier, probably even low D tier, honestly. Pam is just like not that good anymore. Her kit is like all about healing. And there's just like way better healers out there, like Poco, Byron, and all that. Pretty unfortunate she's not better anymore. But in case you're one of the weirdos out there who runs Pam in 2025, I recommend going Mama Squeeze star power with obviously always go this gear. Always go this mythic gear whenever you're playing Pam. It is probably one of the best gears in the game for this brawler. And you can pair it up with the reload gear and just spam the scrap sucker. So like every 15 seconds you can like steal ammo and all that, which is really good for Pam. Don't go the pulse modulator. It's kind of useless. This one's just way better when you're dealing with like tanks and stuff like that. Edgar, Mortis, and all that. I think it's just really good. Taking ammo and get ammo for yourself, etc. But yeah, this is a general build you want to go for Pam. Next up is Frankenstein. Crazy enough, I ran this brawler at Worlds. Every single time I played this brawler at Worlds, I won. Even Humble Bandit and Totem. That's how formidable this brawler is whenever I touch the point. By the way, this is the best Frank skin. I would like to personally say that I became an icon, unfortunately, for this brawler. I ran this skin everywhere with Frank, and every single person for some reason ran this skin. I don't know if it's like the good skin or just because I'm like using it on Frank, but whatever it is, this skin is actually just gas. I would say Frank right now is maybe like high B tier, mid B tier. Kind of fell off because of like other tanks that got released and like hypercharged and all that. But I would say Frank is a pretty good brawler still. If you want to play him, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like Frank's a great brawler, especially if you're good with Frank. So for the build you want to be going, it honestly depends. Power grab is like my go-to personally, but lately I've been kind of dabbling on the sponge. But either or, depending on if you're like good with Frank, I would suggest going with power grab. If you're one of those players who can like grab a kill with Frank and stay alive afterwards, definitely go to star power. For the gears though, speed and damage is my go-to. Always go that. Frank wants to be as fast as possible and does and wants to do as much damage as possible, you feel me? And for the gadget, both are really good. I like to personally run the irresistible attraction. Once again, this gadget is like based off of me basically, because I'm one of the most irresistible attractions in the whole world, along with LeBron James, of course. But if you're facing like a Lou or like a Maisie or just something that can stun you when you're using your super, noise cancellation could be the go-to. But if you're broke, once again, it can't afford both gadgets, just go with irresistible attraction. So yeah, next up is Bibi. Like, this brawler used to be so fun when it was meta, but unfortunately she fell off, and it's kind of unfortunate. But she's really good at pit stop. That's about it, honestly. Besides that map, she's kind of mid. I would say she's C tier, low C tier. She's good but not that good, you feel me? And for the build, I like to personally run the home run star power because I got them jukes on me, you feel me? I'd rather be really fast than just like be really tanky, you know what I'm saying? And for the gears, speed and damage are your go-to. By the way, they do not stack. So say if you have this star power and you have the speed gear, they do not stack, by the way. I learned my lesson from last time. Actually no, it does stack kind of, but it kind of like diminishes returns type of beat. But besides that though, this is the build I want to be going. Obviously, if you're in the home run, you can also pair it up with shield gear. You go like shield gear with this speed star power. But me personally, I just like to go like speed with the speed star power, be as fast as possible. And for the gadget, always go vitamin booster. This one has a pretty low cooldown every 15 seconds, you know what I'm saying? The other one's just basically useless, so never ever buy this unless obviously you're like a TikToker trying to farm for clips. Besides that though, vitamin booster is your way to go. All right, next up is B. Without a doubt, this brawler is S tier. This brawler does so much damage for no reason. It's actually insane. You can't get close to it with the super. He does like 4k damage every like 2 seconds. So definitely a high S tier. Top 3 probably. The build, I personally like to go the instant reload. I just get the 4k shot as much as possible. Obviously, you can go like the honeycomb if you're playing like a gem grab B. You're collecting the gems as mid, or you're playing like hot zone where you have to stand in the zone. But regardless, I like to run the honeycomb. Or I mean the instant reload, The gears, I always recommend you guys go in a super rare gear. The gadget cooldown. Reason being is because if you're running the rattled hive, you can spam this every like 17.5 seconds to 18 seconds. And her gadget is probably the reason why she's so good right now. So you definitely want to be spamming this gadget as much as possible. You can pair it up with the shield gear too. Shield gear plus the reload. Because B does not have that much HP, especially if you're not running the shield star power. But obviously, if you think you're confident enough in your survivability skills, you can like opt out to go something else like speed, vision, damage, and all that. B does a lot of damage if you have like her damage gear active. Besides that though, yeah, that's the build you want to be going. Next up is Nani. Probably one of the most fun brawlers out there alongside Piper. If obviously you can hit your shots. Right now, I would say Nani's like low B tier, maybe high C tier, maybe mid C tier at best. He really isn't that good anymore besides like knockout or bounty modes. Maybe you can run him in last up in gem grab. But besides that though, he's kind of mid. For the build, I recommend going autofocus. But in the off cases, you're actually running them in bridge too far. Bridge too far, second best. Shut up. Enough. It's literally like the 4th month into the next year. Let it go. Anyways, if you're like playing Nani in heights, you can go like tempered steel star power. And like once you get your super, you can like TP in the safe without worrying about dying. And you can pair it up with the TP gadget. But if you're running Nani anywhere else but heist, I recommend going autofocus. Gives more damage to your super. Alongside the return ascender. This is really good in modes like bounty, KO, shooting star, you know what I'm saying? If you get like Piper curve, you send it back. And for the gears, I always recommend going to epic gear. Get your super faster. And you can pair it up with like a damage, speed, even shield gear. I honestly recommend going shield gear alongside the epic gear. It's a really good combination. But obviously, if you're confident of not getting hit or dying, you can opt out to go the shield damage gear. Pair it up with like your super and you do a bunch of damage. So yeah. Next up is Edgar. Edgar actually has been, he's been like, rising up the ranks in the meta a little bit. I would say he's like high C tier, maybe low B tier. He's only really good in pit stop. Honestly, he's probably like C tier at best. Besides that though, his build, I always recommend going hard landing. I personally don't like running the fisticuffs. Ew, fisticuffs. Pause on that. Reason being is because you don't really get kills with the other star power besides hard landing. You really want to be doing that extra 1300 damage. And for the gears, I like to go the reload gear and the damage because, damage is actually really important when dealing with Edgar. It really doesn't do that much, so you definitely want to be going damage. And for the gadget, please always go Let's Fly. You want your super as much as possible. And the other gadget just sucks balls. So yeah, definitely be going this build, 100%. All right, next up is Griff. Honestly, the Griff is only really good in hot zone when you're like aiming to break open the walls, even brawl ball too, but only if you want to break open them. Besides that, he's pretty mid. I would give him like C tier, maybe low B tier. He's pretty good, honestly, when under specific conditions. But besides that, that's kind of ass. For the star power, I always recommend going business resilient, and you can obviously pair up with the reload gear and the damage gear, and you do a bunch of damage. You really want to be shooting as much as possible with Griff. That's why you always want to be going this gadget or this gear. Not gadget or gear, but like star. What is wrong with me, bro? I've been playing this game for 4 years and I can't pronounce things right. Business, resilience, star power. And for the gadget, piggy bank. This is like the most disgusting thing. Every 16 seconds, you're breaking up the map. Definitely the gadget you want to be going when you're aiming to break up the map. Pair it up with like a B or like sharpshooters, and yeah, pretty much broke it. Me personally, this brawler is just absolute dookie buns outside of like KO and bounty maybe. Besides that though, he got a hypercharge. Obviously, I don't have it because I'm broke. I would say currently he's maybe like C tier. I haven't really played Grom that much, and it's probably for a good reason because he's absolute butt. You feel me? Anyways though, for the build, always go X Factor. You want to be doing as much damage as possible with the Grom. Reason being is because some of you guys are out there, missing your Grom shots. So in the off chances you hit your Grom shots, you want to be doing as much damage as possible. And basically the other star power is useless because like you're getting movement speed just by holding his super. And you definitely don't want to be holding Grom's super. That's just so stupid. So yeah, just go to X Factor star power, pair it up with vision. Not vision, but like the speed, damage. You want to be as fast as possible to work up the map, hit the shots, you feel me? For the gadget, I personally like to go to Watchtower, especially in like KO modes where you're playing like a map with like, I don't know, like a one map. I don't know what the map's called. I think it's like I think it's called Out in the Open or something. I don't know, but it's like one of those maps where you spawn side to side, like left to right, and you like walk up the right side of where the enemy's gonna be coming, and then you pop your gadget, and you can see where they are and put pressure from both lanes. And you can obviously use it to tank a Piper shot or like a Brock shot or whatever. A little bit of extra survivability, you know what I'm saying? Besides that though, he's okay. Next up is Bonnie. This brawler is just like, I think it's just like F tier or D tier, like low D tier, F tier. This brawler is absolutely useless. Honestly, I used to like playing Bonnie back when she was meta. She used to be like top, like number one high pick, number one KO pick. But now she's just like utter mid. For the build though, black powder sounds like a type of drug, but this is it. Star power you want to be running. For the gears, please always go epic gear. If for some reason you find yourself playing Bonnie voluntarily, always go to epic gear. I think this gives you your super after 3 shots in comparison to 4. So yeah, always be going this one. And for the gear, the second one that I recommend you guys going is the gadget cooldown, and you can pair it up with the sugar rush. Yo, what is up with these names? I swear all these names are like after drugs. You pair it up with the gadget, you know what I'm saying, the gear. You get your gadget every like 14 seconds. So yeah. Next up is Gale. Honestly, Gale has been coming more meta lately. I would say he's like maybe like high B tier, mid B tier. He's pretty good at stopping tanks, you know what I'm saying? For the build though, Freezing Snow is my go-to. Always want to be going this one. You could argue the other star power is really good for him, but this one's just better. It provides way more benefits considering all you have to do is hit shots. While for the other star power, you have to wait for your super. So I recommend always going Freezing Snow. This is actually really good for like brawlers who run up the map. You know what I'm saying? Like tanks, you like slow down the tanks down. Like say for example, you're facing a Jacky and a hypercharges up, you can use this star power to just absolutely touch the Jacky and slow her down, you know what I'm saying? The gears, speed and damage is my go-to. Obviously, if you're playing mass with bushes, you can opt out to go division. And for the gadget, honestly depends. If you're facing like a Mortis or something, you want to go like the Twister or like any assassins. But besides that, I always recommend going Spring Ejector. Reason being is if you're playing like hot zone, you can like jump over the wall or something and get like an extra 5% and get a position, you know what I'm saying? And especially like Kaboom Canyon, you know, like jump over the wall, over the water, get the mid, get that early position, you feel me? Besides that though, next up is Colette. By the way, we need more skins like these. Like the maid Colette anime skin, they've been cooking, bro. This is like a money stealing idea. Like I'm so down if we got like a maid Piper skin. Even like a maid Frank skin would go so hard. Anyways though, Colette is actually pretty meta, I would say. Not really, honestly, she kind of fell off. I would say she's like high C tier, maybe low B tier. She's still pretty good in heist. She's pretty good at countering tanks. But besides that, she kind of fell off because there's just like too many broken brawlers nowadays. That either like spawns too many like spawnables or like has too much range, more damage, you know what I'm saying? Just got power crept, you know what I'm saying? Power crept. For the build though, I always recommend going push it. Even in heist, this one's really good. This is like good when you're facing like tanks or something. For the gears, speed and damage, obviously the go-to. You could even recommend, I also recommend going like the gadget cooldown in preparation with the damage gear. You can spam your heal gadget as much as possible every 15 seconds or so. Always be going the heal gadget. The other one's absolutely useless. So yeah, this is the build I recommend going 100% of the time. Next up is Belle. She's definitely still like one of the best brawlers out there, if obviously you can hit your shots. I would say she's like low A tier, high B tier, maybe even low B tier, honestly. But that's up to you, honestly. It's up to you guys watching the video right now. If you think you're Himothy or Herithy, honestly, I don't want to be sexist because there's obviously girl Brawl Star players out there and women who dabble in the mobile gaming. By the way, this is the best Belle skin. The default Belle is the best Belle skin, and like this skin looks absolutely disgusting. So if I catch you, run this skin, I'm gonna get my shooters on you in game, of course. Anyways, though, for the build, I always recommend going positive feedback, unless obviously you're like me and decided to go like the grounded star power in the world finals. You're more than welcome to, honestly. This star power is actually pretty good when you're facing like a Kenji or Mortis or like any tank. Even sharpshooters too. If you manage to hit your supers, this star power is really good. But besides that though, for all you newbies out there, definitely go positive feedback to get that shield, you know what I'm saying? For the gears, I always recommend going the reload gear. Belle doesn't really have that much, you know, bullets to spare, you know what I'm saying? If you miss your shots without this gear, you really can't come back, honestly. That's why I always recommend going the epic gear. You could also pair it up with the shield gear considering she doesn't have that much HP. But me personally, I don't really worry about that because I'm him. I dodge, I hit shots, I do all that. I'm mechanically gifted, as you can say. I do the damage, you know what I'm saying? And for the gadget, I always recommend going nest egg. This gadget will always give you value, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, if you're like a TikToker doing for trick shots, you could go reverse polarity, but in general, please go nest egg. Next up is Ashington. This trash freaking brawler. He's actually pretty good. I would say he's A tier. Definitely one of the best tanks out there right now. With this hypercharge, of course, and for the build, I recommend going first bash 100% of the time. This gives him more rage. And for the gears, always go speed. speed. Ashe is definitely one of the slowest brawlers out there if you don't have his rage. And the speed gives him the ability to like get that rage, you know what I'm saying? And damage gear is what I would like to go as well. He does a lot of damage if you have his damage gear active and full rage. And for the gadget, always go chill pill. Once again, Brawl Stars always going after the idea of making their gadgets like drugs. But you know what I'm saying? Get that extra HP when you're low. Honestly, the other gadget isn't even that bad. You basically get a little bit of your rage if you pop this every 18 seconds or so. Me personally, there's this build I've been trying where I have this gadget and I have the heal gear. So whenever I lose like 10% of my health, I regen it back pretty quickly. I would only recommend going this build if you're facing like a comp that doesn't really go in on you and it's like really hard to get rage, you know what I'm saying? But besides that though, I always recommend going chill pill and speed damage with first bash. Next up is Lola. Lola actually isn't that bad now with her new hypercharge. I would say she's probably like mid B tier, high B tier, maybe even low A tier honestly. She's a really good damage dealer in heist. Pretty good control brawler if you're running shield with a kiss and hot and all that. Pretty good well-rounded brawler honestly. And for the build, I always like to go improvise. Reason being, I like to do that extra damage. Pair it up with an epic gear. You're always shooting. Honestly, both star powers are actually really good. If you think about it, if you're running the heal star power alongside the reload, you're always going to be shooting when you have your super on top of you and just healing, you know what I'm saying, endlessly, basically never dying. And for the gears, I recommend going obviously 100% epic, and you can pair it up with a shield gear, vision gear if you're playing in like a bush. And yeah, that's what I recommend. For the gadget, always go freeze frame. You can like use this to hide behind your clone. Honestly, the other gadget isn't that bad either, but considering it's like 17 seconds, I always think that this one is just the way to go, you know what I'm saying? All right, so next up is Sam. I think one of like the brawlers that are like tied down to my name, you know what I'm saying? So for the build, I recommend going heart recovery 100% of the time. There's literally no other reason for you to use the other star power, you know what I'm saying? And for the gears, I like to go health and damage. You could opt to go like shield damage, but I just think health is just better, you know what I'm saying? And for the gadget, always go magnetic field. The other one is just complete useless. Definitely one of the most useless gadgets in the game. So theoretically, and just always please go this build. All right, next up is Mandy's Candy. You know what I'm saying? With the hypercharge, she's actually, I would say she's probably maybe like, I would say like mid or high B tier. She's very viable in Bounty and Gale. I think that she's like top priority, top pick, and she's just really good once you get your hypercharge. All right, for the build though, I always recommend in my sights. There's no other reason for you to use the other star power. Always go the first one. And for the gears, I always go speed and damage, but I think damage is kind of overrated on Mandy. I think you should always go shield and the gadget cooldown. The reason being is because both Mandy gadgets are actually pretty good and they have very low cooldowns. So you want to like spam them as much as possible. But for the gadget though, I always recommend going cookie crumbs and where it like pierces the environment, you know what I'm saying? You always want to get Mandy's super. That's pretty much the only reason why you're running Mandy. So you want to like get your super as much as possible, you know what I'm saying? So for the gadget, go cookie crumbs, star power, in my sights, gears, shield, and the gadget reload, you know what I'm saying? All right, next up is Maisie. Definitely one of the most skill dependent brawlers out there. High A tier at least. If you think you can hit shots, it could definitely be a menace in the battlefield. For the build, Thermos, obviously. My teammate OG has always been vouching for this star power, but please don't listen to OG Brawl Stars. Please always go Tremors. If you hit your super, you slow someone down, you just kill them afterwards. Basically, it has more value. For the gears, I always recommend going reload, but obviously you don't have to. You can go like speed damage, speed vision if there's like, you know, grass, but if you have the damage gear active, you can do a bunch of damage. And for the gadget, I recommend 100% going disengage. There's not really another reason why you should go the other gadget. Just please always go this one. This gives you like a mini dash to help you use your super. And if you know the Maisie trick where you like gadget, then super, or super, then gadget, you do a bunch of damage. You know what I'm saying? Next up is Hank. I'm actually glad this brawler got nerfed. Like, yeah, yay, Hank got a big nerf and now he's meta. But he's like too meta, you know what I'm saying? He just feels like shameless. But I would say he's pretty good right now in like a good place. I would say he's like low A tier. Maybe B tier now, high B tier. He's still pretty good, but he's not all that. At least not from before. For the build, please don't mind the vision gear. Like me personally, I'm like one of the odd ones out who are using the vision gear for just like the shits and giggles. But I also recommend for the gears, speed damage. You can even go shield. You can even go like the reload one. Anything but vision, honestly. Just anything but that. For the star power, it's gonna blow. Pause. Is the star power you want to be going for. This makes you a bit more faster when you're fully charged up with your bubble, giving you a better opportunity to hit your shots. You know what I'm saying? And for the gadget, shield is 100% what you want to be going. So this is the build you want to be going on, Hank. No cap. Next up is a Pearlington. Definitely one of the worst brawlers out there. I think F tier or bottom D tier. Screw it. Let's make an E tier and like put Pearl in it. Cause it sucks. Anyways though, for the build, heat shield is where you want to be going on the Pearl elevator. I personally like to go the gadget cooldown alongside damage. Reason being is that every 15 seconds you get your gadget and just like gadget spam people. It's really good in like Bounty or Kale where you're getting for kills. Pearl isn't really good anywhere besides that. She has good HP, so you really don't have to like do anything until like the late game. And once you have like late game where the gas comes in and knockout, you like pop your gadget and just like hope something happens. But besides that though, this is the build you want to be going. Never go the other one. Made with love. It's absolutely useless. So always just going overcooked with heat shield, speed reload, and yeah. Next up is Larry, the most fatherless brawler out there. I think this is probably the most broken brawler that has ever been initially released. Like Rosa was pretty bad, Surge was pretty bad, Chester was pretty bad too, but nothing will ever compare to peak Larry and Lawrie. I would say Larry's like C tier or low B tier. He's still a pretty good thrower, but he's just like not that meta. For the build though, I recommend going, honestly both builds are pretty good. You can go with Protocol Assist star power if you're facing like tanks, put your super down and just like spam auto aim if like they go close to you. But anywhere else besides that though, Protocol Protect is what you want to be going. For the gears, I like to go speed damage. You can obviously go like shield damage, reload damage, even vision if you're playing Larry in like a bushy map, obviously is pretty good there too. There really isn't a bad map for Larry and Lawrie unless it's like pretty open. And for the gadget, please always go fallback. There really is no need for you to go swap weapons. It's absolutely useless. Always go fallback, you know what I'm saying? That's where we want to be going. Alright, next up is Angelo. Probably one of the most like disgusting, annoying brawlers out there. Pretty ironic that he's a mosquito, considering I hate mosquitoes so damn much. Blood-sucking rodents. I would say Angelo is for like high B tier, maybe even low A tier. He's a really good sharpshooter in Bounty and Kale. Even Heist 2 is pretty good. I think he's like A tier at least. He's definitely one of the best brawlers out there in terms of, you know, getting around the map, shooting people, and just like, you know, getting kills. And for the build, I recommend always going power. Even in maps like Layer Cake, not Layer Cake, but what's that map called? I forgot what that map's called, where there's like water in the middle and Bounty. I think it's called Layer Cake. Actually, I don't even know honestly. Pro player can't remember map names. Yeah, I know. Anyways though, always go this one. Even if there's like a lot of water, I still recommend you going to star power, considering Angelo doesn't have that much HP. You know what I'm saying? When you get your super, you always want to be healing on it. For the gears, I like to go health and shield. I like to be on full HP as much as possible with Angelo. Obviously, you can go like shield damage. Shield reload is pretty good too. If you're one of those like gadget spammers on Angelo. Every 14 seconds, you pierce the whole entire environment. Basically, you can shoot through walls every 14 seconds. Pairing it up with the reload gear, you can do it every 10 seconds. Not 10 seconds, but like 12 seconds, something shit like that. Absolutely disgusting behavior, but obviously you could go the stinging flight if you're facing like tanks. Both gadgets are really good, but in general, always go this star power and power. Shield with like health or whatever you want. Vision is also pretty good too. Singing flight or massive fletcher depending on your playstyle, what you're facing, etc. Next up is Barry, another brawler that I would personally like deleted from the game. Nah, hold on, let me get some water real quick. I've actually been yapping too much this episode. Okay. Yeah. Anyways though, Barry, jobless brawler. Once again, I would say he's A tier at least. He's definitely still strong. Pairing up with like tanks, other healers, anything honestly. That was a little bit too much. For the build though, I always recommend going floor is fine. Reason being, you want to be reloading as much as possible on this brawler. You know what I'm saying? Just like piss on yourself one time and boom, you can piss a lot more. For the gears, I recommend going speed and shield. Shield 100% a must because he doesn't have that much HP obviously. And for the gears, you can do like reload if you're facing like tanks and you need to be knocking people away as much as possible, or speed, but I definitely recommend going the damage gear. For the gadget though, friendship is great. It is the go-to option you want to be going. Unless you're playing Barry and Heist, then you could go healthy additives. You put one of these on the safe, and I think it does like 17%, 17 to 20% every single time you put on the safe, which is absolutely astounding and disgusting. But in general, friendship is great. It's where you want to go. Very, very nice. Next up is Shade, probably one of my favorite brawlers as of late. Pretty satisfying when you're playing Shade. I would say Shade's like low B tier though. He really isn't that meta nowadays, considering, you know, Hank is a thing and the Hank can shoot through walls. But besides that though, for the build, hardening hoodie is when you want to be going. Shade doesn't have that much HP and you want to be as live as much as possible when you're using a super. For the gears, shooting damage is where you always want to be going. You could go reload, pair it up with shield to get your gadget, to get your super, you know what I'm saying? But me personally, I find I don't do as much damage as I need to with Shade, even when I be hitting all the crits. So yeah, I think shield damage is where you want to be going. For the gadget, obviously go long arms. This helps you get your super as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Oh goodness, Meeple. Meeple is definitely S tier as of late. For the build, rule bending is what I like to personally go. Pairing it up with the shield gear because obviously Meeple does not have that much HP. And he's pretty squishy, honestly. And I like to go the reload gear. His gadget is honestly really, really broken. Both of them are actually really, really good. That is why both of them have high cooldowns. And I like to spam my boxes as much as possible on people. Obviously, you could go the other gadget if you're facing like a Melodie or like a Edgar or like anything that comes close to you. Tanks in general, honestly. But besides that though, I like to go the boxing one. Start boxing people like a fish, you feel me? Next up is Mortis. I would say Mortis is high B tier, maybe low S tier. Not low S tier, but like low A tier, you know what I'm saying? Definitely a menace once he gets his hypercharge. For the build though, I always recommend going Cold Snake. Never, never, ever, ever, ever go the creepy harvest. People who run the star power is creepy. Get it? Get it? Creepy harvest. You're creepy. Nah, see, that's actually wordplay right there. For the gears, I recommend going speed. Not speed, but like damage or even health gear. Shield gear is actually a really good option when you're pairing it up with the mythic gear. Me personally, I think that mythic gear is a 100% must. Definitely top 3 gears in the game. This is like definitely what you want to be going on Mortis. This lets you chain your bats faster and quicker and just simply lets you hit it like better, you know what I'm saying? For the gadget, I recommend always going Survivor Shuffle. Every 16 seconds, you get this gadget, you get more reloads and all that. You really want as much reloads as possible when you're playing Mortis. So, in comparison, I think this is the best build. You want to be going with Mortis. Next up is Tara. Tara is honestly not that bad, but she's only really good in gem grab, considering like one good hypercharge super can like pretty much turn the whole game over. Besides that though, I would say she's like low B tier, high C tier. She has her uses obviously, and for the build, always go Black Portal. You could honestly go Healing Shade, but I think it's just like not that useful considering there's like too many brawlers who just like kill things nowadays. And the Black Portal, if you like, even if you miss your super, it'll have some value if it like makes your enemies waste ammo or like you to try to kill it, you know what I'm saying? For the gears though, speed I think is a must with Tara. She's pretty slow on her own, so. And for the gears, you could go like reload, shield, maybe vision, depending on if you're playing a bushy map, but damage is what I like to go always. Tara really doesn't do that much damage, at least long range, so. And for the gadget, it obviously depends. Unless you're playing like Snake Parry, always go this gadget. This gives you every 15 seconds, you get 3 little monkeys that you use and you sacrifice them to stay alive, honestly. Yeah, that's basically it. Next up is Jean. Definitely a high A tier brawler. Jean's really good in bounty and KO. Pretty butt besides O2's modes though. But he's really, really good in those modes though. Definitely high A tier. He's like a must pick in every bounty map, every KO map. For the build though, okay. For the build, please listen to me. Please listen. Always go magic puffs. Do you understand? Always go magic. For all those Jean mains out there, quote unquote, who are going spirit slap, I'm gonna slap you. Alright? Never go a spirit slap. As I said before, always go magic puff star power. For the gears, always go mythic gear. This gives you a bigger, longer, girthier, veinier super. Always 100% going this gear. Definitely top 3 gears of all time. I think it goes Jean 1, Am 2, and Mortis 3. Like the mythic gears for all those brawlers are like top 3. I personally like to pair it up with the gadget cooldown gear with the vengeful spirits. Every 18 seconds or so, I like to spam the gadget, which is really good in shooting star, KO, and all that. The other gadget is okay, but it's 20 seconds. Only really use it if you're facing like a Fang or something like a Mortis. Besides that though, even though you're facing like tanks, you can still go this gadget, the vengeful spirits, to get that extra damage, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Next up is Maxington. Max is definitely like a high B tier, maybe like a low A tier. Kind of fell off recently considering there's like too many things nowadays that stops Max. Honestly, I'll give her like mid A tier at best. Besides though, she's still pretty good. For the star power though, I like to go running gun. But if you would like your supers more often, you can go supercharged. But me personally, I like to do running gun. And the gears are very interchangeable. If you're playing like a bushy map, you could go vision. And if you're playing max as like a gem carrier or something like that, you can go like shield and health. Damage is actually really good on max. Vision gear too is pretty good on max, considering you have a lot of bullets and all that. Speed, vision, whatever you want. But me personally, I like to go health and vision. Damage, obviously, depending on the map. And for the gadget, always go phase shifter. There have been some monkeys out there on TikTok who've been using sneaky sneakers, trying to get like TikTok clips in friendly battles. This gadget is not good, alright? Just stop. Alright, just don't do it. It sucks. Just go phase shifting, alright? Next up is Mr. PP. I would say he's low S tier right now. I think he's still pretty good even with his hypercharge. It's still annoying, but not as annoying as before, you know what I'm saying? For the build, I always recommend going revolving door. This makes his Mr. P porters a lot more annoying. And for the gears, I like to go Peck gear. Peck gear with a little bit of damage, you know what I'm saying? You could pair it up with the shield gear since Mr. P doesn't have much HP. But me personally, I like to go Peck gear with damage. And for the gadget, it honestly depends. Right now, both gadgets are pretty good. But me personally, I like to go porter reinforcements. You can like spawn a little penguin wherever you shoot, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty annoying. Every 15 seconds or so, you know what I'm saying? And if you pair it up with the reload gear, you can do it every like 14, 13 seconds. So yeah, it depends on where you want to go. Where you want to go, man? Next up is a Sproutington. Definitely one of the most jobless brawlers out there, especially if you know how to do like the double wall trick. I would say right now he's like low B tier, high C tier. He's not really good outside of bounty and KO. even in those modes, he's still pretty mid. For the build though, Overgrowth is your go-to. For the gears, always go Epic Gear. This lets you get your super, I think in like 4 or 3 shots. I think 4 shots though, but it's still very worth it. For the gears, I like to go the Reload with the Transplant gadget. This is a gadget you always want to go because you always want your wall with Sprout. Besides that though, this is a build you always want to be going. All right, next up is Byron. He's actually pretty good in like Hot Zone, Bounty. Honestly, you can play Brawl Ball too. He's actually pretty good in every single mode if you play him correctly and you hit your shots, obviously. But I don't know if I gave him a rating. I kind of forgot. But if I would give him a rating, I'll give him like low B tier, mid B tier, maybe even high B tier. Definitely a very rewarding brawler if you hit your shots. For the build though, I always like to go Malise. That Malise star power is actually really good if you hit it. Denies HP, really good versus tanks. Denies them regen, you know what I'm saying? You always like hit your super, cycle it all over again, you know what I'm saying? Pretty fire. For the build, I like to go shield and damage. Shield 100% because he doesn't have that much HP. Damage because if you hit your super with damage, it does a lot of damage, obviously. And if you guys didn't know, if you have your damage gear active and you're healing your teammates, you actually heal more. You know what I'm saying? For the gadget, I always like to go booster shots. This gives you a better chance of hitting your shots, and every 14 seconds is actually pretty good. And you could also pair it up with the super rare gear gadget cooldown. You know what I'm saying? And you can be doing this like every 12 seconds. So yeah. Next up is Squeakington. Me and Squeak actually have been on good terms lately. You know what I'm saying? Me and Squeak have not been getting the best along in past years, but now I would say me and him are actually pretty chill now. I would say he's like A tier, mid A tier, high A tier. He's actually really good now. Reason being is because of this gadget. Wind up every 14 seconds, you basically like spam your gadget and does a lot, almost 4k damage if you hit it in a pretty long range. And you do this every 14 seconds, especially in like heist. You like spam it on the safe and do like, I think like 7% max range. So imagine like every 14 seconds, you're like 7% or something like that. Pretty fire, honestly. And for the build, I personally like to go the super sticky star power. But right now, the meta star power is chain reaction. So if you had to get one out of the two, always go chain reaction. You do more damage if you hit more shots. For the gears, speed and damage is my go-to. Vision is good too, you know what I'm saying? Next up is the Lewington. Lou is really good in Hot Zone. Brawl Ball 2. Aside that though, not really that good outside of like those modes. I would give him like low A tier. For the build though, Hypothermia is my go-to star power. Always go the epic gear to get your super gear more or like your super more faster. For the other gear, I would recommend going the damage. Obviously, you're playing like a bushy map, you could go like vision. But besides that, this is my general build. And for the gadget, Cryo Syrup is what I like to go 100% no matter what. I hate going like the shield one. I think shields is useless. But you could go shield if you're facing a Poco, because like the Poco will just like anti-stun your other gadget. But besides that though, I heavily recommend going Cryo Syrup. Alright, next up is Mr. Ruffs, Ruffs, even with his hypercharge, is pretty mid now. I would say he's like C tier. For the build though, Air Superiority is my go-to. Breaks walls when you're supering, and you kind of like want to break your walls when you're playing Ruffs. For the gadget, Take Cover is my go-to. Every 16 seconds, you get like some sandbags, cover yourself up. Pretty good in where you're facing brawlers who don't pierce. For the gears though, Speed and Vision is my go-to. But if you're not playing a map where there's no bushes, you could go damage, but speed is always my go-to. You could go shield too, since Mr. P doesn't, or like, bro, why am I saying Mr. P? If Ruff doesn't have any bushes, you know what I'm saying? Besides that though, this is my go-to build. The boost, alrighty. Don't judge my skin. This is like top 3 like amazing investments in my Brawl Stars account. The Booz X skin. I would say Buzz is like A tier. It's actually one of the best tanks out there. For the build though, me personally, I like to go with Tougher Torpedo. If you hit your super, they stun faster. But if you think you're not gonna have a hard time getting your super in like open maps, for example, you could go Eye Sharp. But anywhere else, I think Tougher Torpedo is the best sharp power. For the gears, speed and damage, gadget, reserve buoy to get that extra super, you know what I'm saying? Positioning, you super on someone, whatever, and you can run the other gadget if you're playing Snake Parry. You can even go this gadget in center stage. Besides that though, I recommend going reserve buoy. It's an emergency super, you know what I'm saying? If you have your hypercharge but you don't have your super, you like pop the gadget with your hypercharge and then boom. Alright, next up is Fang. Fang isn't really that good now. Pretty butt, honestly. I'll give him like low C tier, maybe D tier, maybe even F tier, honestly. He just really isn't that good anymore. For the star power though, fresh kicks, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of fresh kicks though, I like to rock my Yeezys. I also have some low panda dunks. Yeah, you know what? Actually, comment your favorite shoe that you have personally. Not your favorite shoe that you don't have, but like your favorite shoe that you currently own. You know what I'm saying? I think my favorite shoe right now is my Uggs. And yes, I'm a man, grown man wearing Uggs. I don't care. They're like the most comfortable shoe of all time, and they're like low-key stylish. They don't require that much effort to pair up with, you know what I'm saying? It's, me personally, Uggs my favorite right now. I also have some Yeezys, as I said before, some Panda low dunks. So yeah, for the build though, fresh kicks is your star power, speed damage is the gears you want to be going, and for the gadget, always go roundhouse kick. Unless you're mental, you could go corn foo. I don't know what Supercell was going for there. Corn foo. What the hell? Besides that, just please always go the stun gadget. All right, next up is Evington. Definitely one of the best brawlers in Heist. Outside of Heist though, she's pretty butt. I would give her like low B tier, maybe even high C tier. Her hypercharge is actually really strong. For the build though, I like to go Happy Surprise. This makes it so you do 1,000 damage up front, but obviously you could go unnatural order. I personally like the star power a little bit more, but I like to just hit my shots more. Honestly, both have powers are pretty good, but if you had to choose one, I would just go Happy Surprise. For the gears, I always recommend going to reload. You can pair it up with damage, you can pair it up with shield. You could go the mythic gear, considering there's like a lot of brawlers that just pierce and stuff like that. So me personally, damage gear is the go-to. For the gadget, gotta go is definitely the one you want to be going. You get like a free jail out of free card. You get a free out of jail free card. You know what I'm saying? With this gadget, you jump away, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. All right, Janet, definitely an S tier brawler. This is the best Janet skin BTW. Reminds me of like Sailor Moon alongside like Piper skin. Anyways though, definitely S tier for the build you want to be going. Vocal warm up is my go-to unless you're planning to playing like Snake Parry. Go let's start power. You know what I'm saying? Besides that though, anywhere else but Snake Parry, go with vocal warm up. Speed damage is the go-to gears you want to be going. Obviously, if you're facing people in grass, you go the vision gear. And if there's no bushes in like hockey brawl, you go like heal and damage. Besides that though, speed and damage are your go-tos. For the gadget, I like to go drop the bass. Unless obviously you're mentally delusional and you're hopping over the border with backstage pass, please always just go drop the boss. All right, next up is Otis. This is a skin you want to be going. You know what I'm saying? This is the correct Zeta skin. This is the only Zeta skin you should be going. I would say Otis is like low B tier, high C tier. He's pretty good in gem grab, but besides that though, he's pretty butt. Maybe Bravo too, but he's just not that good. For the build, ink refills is where you want to be going. Basically does more damage. For the gears, speed and damage is your go-tos. If, once again, bushy map, vision. For the gadget, fat splatter is the go-to. Unless obviously you're in a friendly battle recording TikToks, you could go dormant star, put the super in the corner, pretend you're being AFK, and the enemy just walks up shamelessly to you, doesn't shoot. Then yeah, you can just go this gadget. But if you're not a TikToker farming clips, just go fat splatter. Pretty ironic, because some of you guys are fat as hell. All right, next up is Buster. Even with Buster's hypercharge, he's pretty butt. You know what I'm saying? He's still booty. His hypercharge is pretty mid. Doesn't really do that much, honestly. It's like pretty much a letdown. Anybody could have guessed his hypercharge, honestly. Besides that, though, I would say he's like low B tier, high C tier. Honestly, I would say he's like I would say he's by high B tier. Honestly, his shield is really valuable. So with the build, Kevlar best is what I would personally recommend. Speed damage, obviously always go this two builds, you know what I'm saying? Always go speed damage. Buster as a tank needs that extra speed, and for the gadget, slow-mo replay is 100% your option. This is the build you want to go on. The big Fanta booster. Next up is Grayington. Definitely a high A tier brawler. Really good in hockey brawl. He's good in bounty. He's good in KO. Also good in brawl ball too. Even in hot zone, I would say he's like definitely one of the brawlers who deserve to be S tier. But he's not that S tier. You know what I'm saying? He's like high A tier. For the build though, new perspective is what I like to personally go. But if you're playing bounty or KO, you have to go fake injury. This lets you just be more aggressive and just like tank a hyper shot or like any shots in general. Besides that though, you want to be going new perspective. For the gears, I like to go damage and the gadget cooldown. The reason why Gray is so good is because of his gadget. Every 20 seconds, you get like a yank. And if you're like me, who can do the fantastic great trick, you like yank someone with your gadget and like super right afterwards, pairing it up with the gadget cooldown. Every 18 seconds, you can yank someone. So yeah, this is the build you want to be going. Next up is RTT. I say RT is like, he's only really good in bounty or KO. I wouldn't really say he's good anywhere else. I would say he's like a C tier, low B tier, honestly. For the build though, recording is what I like to personally go on the RT, especially in knockout. Once like it's like late game, you like pop your RT super in the middle of the map and just like tank everything. For the gears, speed damage is my go-to. You go like shield gear, you get like full HP build, 100% survivability. You know, like pop your super, you regen like the first part of your super, and then after you regen full HP, you like tank for the other part of your super, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely depends on what you want to play like as an RT. You could even play RT in center stage. You like pop your RT super in the grass and you just like run up and like touch someone. For the gadget, out of line is my go-to. Basically, you get your super whenever you want, but if you're playing like shooting star, for example, and there's not like any tanks, you can like obviously go the hack star gadget, as well as quick the math. This lets you get kills with your gadget and your super, obviously. So yeah, there's two builds you could be going, but in general, if you have no money, this is the build you want to be going. Next up is Willow. Willow isn't really that good. I would say she's like low D tier. No one really plays Willow, but if you're like one of the weirdos out there playing Willow, Obsession is the star power you want to be going. Speed and damage your go-to. And for the gadget, both gadgets are actually pretty good. You can go like the dive gadget if you're playing like tanks, like a Mortis or whatever. The other gadget's pretty good too if you want to do extra damage. But if you only have a little bit of V-Bucks disposable at your account, I would just go the dive one. And next up is Duggington. Doug is definitely F tier, no doubt about it. Doug is simply not that good. Even in maps with walls and stuff, he really doesn't do that much. He's only really good in probably center stage and always. I personally like to run Doug in Snake Parry. But since Snake Parry isn't really a map anymore, he's fallen down all the way to F tier for sure. For the build though, please don't go Vision. I like to go Vision with Doug just because I'm stupid. But the build, speed and damage is where you want to be going. For the gears, for the star power, self-service is what I would recommend. This heals you while also attacking. Even if it's just a little bit, it's still pretty good. For the gadget, extra mustard is where I'm going to be going. Every 15 seconds, you do like a boatload of damage. So yeah, this is the build you want to be going. Next up is the Chuckington. I would say Chuck is like high D tier, maybe low C tier. He's really good in heist, and he's just really bad everywhere else. You could be weird and be like me and run Chuck in like hot zone. Besides that though, it's pretty useless. For the star power, pit stop is where I'm going to be going. You know what I'm saying? And for the gears, don't go vision. Go like shield and damage. That's it. And for the gadget, I like to always go rerouting. Reason being, you can like charge your super or like, you know, get your super if you make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Just like redo it. But obviously, if you're going for like TikToks, you could go like the ghost trend. For me personally, this is the gadget you should be going. So yeah. Alright, next up is Charlie. Charlie actually has becoming a lot more meta lately. I would say she's mid A tier, maybe even high A tier, honestly. And to be honest, I would personally put her on S tier. Definitely a brawler you should invest in. Really underrated now in this meta. For the build, digestive is the star power you should be going. This gives you a better chance of killing your opponents after cocooning them. For the gears, personally I like to go speed and damage. I have vision gear here for the memes, but even though I have vision gear for the memes, it's still pretty good if you're playing Charlie in a bushy map. Even personally though, I like to go speed and damage. For the gadget, always go with spiders. And honestly, the other gadget isn't even that bad. If you're playing Charlie in like hot zone or like heist, or you're facing brawlers that do not have DPS to kill you, know what I'm saying? You can go this one. And after like you have like a cocoon, and after the cocoon, you get like HP. So yeah, if you're facing like non-DPS brawlers, go this gadget. But if you have no V-Bucks and can't invest in both gadgets, just go spiders. It's safe, it's nice. Even if you're facing like Pierce brawlers, it's still gonna be a nuisance. So yeah, that's the build you want to be going. Definitely one of the most orthodox and just unique brawlers of all time. You know what I'm saying? I would say he's like low C tier, high D tier, something like that. And for the build, always go monkey business. Unless you're playing heist, then you could go record smash and just like play Miko and heist. This lets you do like I think like 4.5k damage on the save. So yeah, it's pretty good. But anywhere else but heist, always go monkey business. For the gears, I always like to go shield and damage. I think it's just like very good on Miko considering shield because he doesn't have that much HP, and damage because you know you want to like do as much damage before you die and like get a kill. You know what I'm saying? And for the gadget, I always go clipping cream, not clipping cream, clipping scream. Always go this one. It lets you get your make it slow your opponents, and then you like jump on them and just kill them. You know what I'm saying? And you honestly you could just like jump on the. You don't even have to jump on the opponent. You can like jump slow and then go away and let your teammates take care of it. So there's like lots of different ways you can use this gadget. So yeah, this is the one you want to use. All right, next up is Melodie. Definitely one of my top 3 favorite brawlers. I really like playing Melodie. I think she's like low S tier. Even after her nerfs, she's pretty good. So for the build, I always like to go fast beats. I think this is her top star power you want to be running. And for the gears, I always go speed. Not speed, but I always go shield and health. Reason being is because you're gonna be regenning a lot with Melodie, and I think it's gonna take too much time like throughout the whole entire game to just regen your HP. And for shield, obviously she doesn't have that much HP. She's actually surprisingly very squishy, and she's a brawler where you want to get close and personal. So for her, I think she's like kind of like a tank, but not really. She wants to be in like full HP as much as possible. She can go in and out of the battlefield, you know what I'm saying? And for the gadgets, it's actually pretty interchangeable. I think the first gadget, perfect pitch, is actually really good when you learn how to use it. So if you're like skillful like me, you know what I'm saying, you should run this gadget. It's pretty fire. Like once you get the hang of it, it's actually a pretty good gadget when you're facing like counters for Melodie. But if you're not like that, just go shield. And obviously if you're poor as hell and you can't afford anything, this is the build you want to be going, right? Just kill this build. It's pretty fire. It's safe. It's amazing. So yeah. Next up is Literator. Lily isn't even, you know, that good anymore with the gadget rework. But if you're still playing Lily, I would say she's like maybe like high C tier, maybe even low C tier. Honestly, she fell off pretty hard. For the build though, spiky is where you want to be going. But if you're facing brawlers who have lots of range and don't like to get up and close and personal with you, vigilance is a really good star power. It gives you extra movement speed. For the gears, speed and damage is my go-to, but you could also opt to go the gadget cooldown, considering all Lily is good for is her gadget, and it's like 22 seconds now. So like every 20 seconds you get her gadget. So yeah, this is the build you want to be going. Oh my gosh, bro, there's like 90 brawlers. goodness. All right, next up is Mr. Krabs. This brawler is definitely, you know, used to be one of the best brawlers out there during Worlds, but now it's like ass. I would say he's like D tier. For the build though, Recon is the go-to star power. Gives you extra tokens at the start, so you don't have to like, you know, do that much for your level 3. For the gears, I like to go speed and damage. You could also go the reload gear with this one too. You know, pair it up with the snappy shooting every like 13 seconds or so. You can like, get your gadget, you know what I'm saying? And just get your super much faster, get your coins much faster. So yeah, that's the build you want to be going on, Mr. Krabs. Alright, next up is Mo. Mo actually got pretty heavy buffs. I would say right now he's like low A tier. He's actually really good now, so definitely worth it. But for the build, skipping stones is what you want to be going. Skipping stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Wise words, you know what I'm saying? For the gears, speed, not speed. You go speed and damage if you want to. But me personally, I like to go damage into Shillington. Mo really doesn't have that much HP, you know what I'm saying? And he also doesn't have that much damage. So these two are really good gears to get. For the gadget, please always go dodgy digging, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Alright, next up is Juju. Probably one of the brawlers I want deleted most in this game. It's just absolutely disgusting. I would say Juju's A tier. For the build, guarded, Gree. Honestly, both star powers are pretty good. But it makes your super have like 9,000 HP at the very beginning. It's pretty annoying. For the gears, shield, because Juju doesn't have that much HP. And I like to go the gadget cooldown because her gadgets are absolutely broken. And for the gadgets, I always recommend going Elementalist. This gives you a buff depending on where you are on the map. And pairing it up with the gadget cooldown, you get your gadget every 15 seconds. So yeah. Alright, next up is Ollington. Ollie is definitely one of the best brawlers out there right now still. Even after, I think he got nerfed. I don't really know. I don't really care. Definitely one of the best tanks out there. For the build though, wait, I didn't say what tier he is. He's like A tier. He's still broken, like A tier. Very close to S tier. Still one of the best brawlers out there. For the build though, once again, Renegade, you know what I'm saying? Renegade is his go-to. But unless you're like me, who can like make anything work. I like personally, I like this star power a bit more than Renegade because I like to be as fast as possible with Ollie, but obviously, you should be going the Renegade 100% of the time. And for the gears, I like to go the super rare gear gadget cooldown, considering his gadgets are both pretty broken. And you can go like damage, shield, health, whatever you want to go. And for the gadgets, me personally, I like to use this one with this star power paired up with it, with speed star power. You can like go up in the wall, gadget somebody, you like mind control them and like touch them and then kill them and go back, you know what I'm saying? But in general, you should be going the regulate, which is like the jumpy one. With the shield one, you like super and then jump over and then just like you mind control them. But yeah, this is the build you always want to be going on Ollington. Alright, next up is a new brawler, Lumai. Lumai actually is a new brawler, and I would say she's probably S tier. I never really played Lumai though, so really can't say for sure. But anyways though, and yes, I did actually buy it for 20 V-Bucks. Shout out to that guy who actually bought it for me. He like donated $20 for me to buy Lumai. For the build though, I think halftime is the best. I don't really know for sure though. I don't really care. This brawler looks absolutely filthy. Honestly, for the gears, damage and speed are my go-tos. And for the gadget, Grim and Frost Bitten makes it so it's like hella slow when you're like attacks are out in the field or whatever. So yeah, this is the build. All right, next up is the Fox. Next up is Fox. I don't really know honestly where he stands in the meta. I think he's like balanced. He's not really strong, not really bad. I would say he's like low B tier, pretty average brawler. For the build, hold on, I don't even know a build. I have not touched this brawler once. I think the primary star power is a better one. I could be completely wrong though. I think they're both like pretty butt. But say for example, you use your super and you hit it, you do more like time with your super. So I think this one's better. For the gears, I like to go speed and damage. So I think speed and damage is the go-tos. Shield is good too. I don't think he has much HP, but obviously you can do whatever the hell you want. I don't really care. For the gadget, back to the Function is my go-to gadget if I were to touch this brawler. This gadget, get some reload, you go back a little bit. Could be used as an escape mechanism. You feel me? So yeah, you can go Back to the Future gadget, primer star power, and then shield damage. Yes, that's the build. Alright, next up is Spikington. Spockington is very honestly, Spike is not that meta right now, but he's always been good. I want to say he's bad right now, that's just not that good anymore. I would say he's like mid B tier, low B tier. For the build though, me personally, I like to go fertilize, because I know I can hit my shots, like the little curveball things or whatever. But if obviously you're no skill brain dead little monkey, go curveball. You know what I'm saying? It's okay if you guys can't hit shots. It's okay. Go the curveball. And for the gears, I always like to go mythic gear, pair it up with like a damage, vision, shield, but always go the mythic gear. It's really important to hit your supers, and if you hit your super, you slow them down and you kill them. Yeah. Anyways, though, that's the gears you want to be going. For the gadget, I always like to go life plant. Every 15 seconds, you get like a little cactus thing and like plop it down, get some HP. So yeah. Next up is a Crowington. Crow is honestly only really good in heist. Maybe hot zone when you're facing like a Crow or like a Poco or whatever. Even then though, Poco kind of counters Crow. Yeah, no, sounds dumb, but it's true. Anyways though, for the build, extra toxic is the way you want to go. And for the gears, I always recommend going the what's this called, the mythic gear and the shield gear. This is definitely when we going shield gear, obviously, because Crow is weak. And if you pair it up with the mythic gear, that shit does a lot of damage. Like 30% on your poison is absolutely crazy. On your crow's poison, you do 30% extra damage. It adds up, alright. And with the gadget, slow and shield are actually both pretty good. Me personally, I've been getting on the wave of the shield Crowington, and you hypercharge on the Seth. It like gives you a little guarantee, you know what I'm saying? But you do whatever you want. Alright, next up is Leon. I would say Leon's like low D tier, honestly like mid D tier. Not really that meta, thankfully. For the build though, Invisi heal is what you want to be going 100% of the time. For the gears, I like to go mythic gear with the damage. Obviously you can go like shield, but I think you should always go the mythic gear. Like 2 seconds of extra super is a long time. 2 seconds is very, very, very long. Trust me, alright? 2 seconds is a long time, ladies. Alright. Anyways though, for the gadget, always go lollipop drop. 20 seconds, you know what I'm saying? Once again, obviously a long time. So I think you should always just go lollipop drop. You can use it as like a little bit of a shield. And just like the amount of pressure you radiate just like putting your gadget down behind a wall is actually insane. So yeah, just go lollipop drop. Obviously, unless you're a TikToker going for TikTok clips, like, oh, I'm gonna Leon super and then gadget on a jump pad and like make my clone jump pad and then actually not take the jump pad and then post on just go lollipop drop, alright? Alright, next up is Sandy Raider. I don't know, I'm actually glad like it's not meta anymore. Like I just hate Sandy so much. Anyways though, I think low B tier, not low, like low beats, like not low B tier, low C tier, low C. You know what I'm saying? And for the build, Rude Sands is the go-to. Speed damage is for the gears you want to be going with the gadget Sweet Dreams. If I ever catch you monkeys going to sleep stimulator, you're getting beat. You know what I'm saying? Always go Sweet Dreams. This gives you lots of opportunities to get away, get a kill, score goals, all that good stuff. Next up is Amber. Definitely an A tier brawler. I think Amber is actually really underrated. Like Amber is just like really, really annoying when it's like putting on constant pressure. Her super, if you like put it really aggressively, just like is annoying for the enemy team. So yeah, definitely an A tier brawler. For the build, I like to go the Wild Flames. For the gears, always go the epic gear for that extra reload. And you can opt to go like vision, damage. But I feel like vision isn't really that worth it, considering you could just like burn the grass down anyway. So just go damage. And for the gadget, I like to always go Dancing Flames. This gives you like something for tanks, or for the high safe, you know what I'm saying? Lots of damage. So yeah, this is the build you want to be going. Next up is Mega Raider. I think like Meg's like okay right now in the meta, not too good, not too bad. I would say she's like high B tier, mid B tier. For the build, heavy metal is what I like to go. When you're facing like tanks and you die, you can like go up as Meg and just like suicide and just like bomb people. That sounds pretty bad, but that's basically what it is. Obviously in the game, of course. YouTube in game. In the game. In Brawl Stars. Anyways though, for the build, I like to go speed and damage. Obviously in bushy maps, go vision. And for the gadget, toolbox is my go-to. I like to use a toolbox as a way to like tank shots. You like put it a little bit far behind you, get the extra reload. You could also go the other one, Jolting Volts, but me personally always go toolbox. All right, next up is Surgington, the Surge. Me personally, I like Surge a lot. I think his best skin is DIY Surge. This skin is actually gasoline. Not many people like it for some reason. That's why some of you guys like are actually bums because you don't like DIY Surge. Anyways, though, for the build, always go serve ice cold. You know what's actually really crazy? I actually one time had a person run to the max star power in one of my rank games to masters. I think it's on YouTube, honestly. I think it's the Surge video on YouTube. Yeah, it's definitely on YouTube. Only real ones remember that video. That's actually crazy, bro. The people who run this star power are just like disgusting showdown players. It's actually nasty. Never go that star power. Always go serve ice cold, but unless you're like a showdown nerd, then sure, you can go like, to the max, because other ones just useless. But besides that though, always go serve ice cold. For the gears, speed and damage is my go-to raider. And once again, if you're facing like, you know, things in the grass, vision is good too. But for the gadget, power shield is pretty good. But if you're facing like brawlers who keep their range and would unlikely feed you a level, could go power surge. But besides that though, shield surge is your go-to. Alright, next up is Chester. I think Chester might be an S tier brawler considering his hypercharge, but it actually got nerfed a lot. So I would say he's like mid A tier, maybe high A tier. For the build though, I like to go single Belle Omania. The other one is just absolutely useless. So yeah, for the gears, speed and damage go to. Obviously, you want to go like vision if you're in the bushes. For the gadget, candy beams is the gadget you want to be going. The reload one is pretty good, but like once again, if you're like a gambler who just like needs to gamble, then sure you can go like spicy dice. But if you have yourself under control and you don't need to gamble, you can still gamble with candy beans. You know what I'm saying? Like me personally, I think I'd rather gamble the buffs instead of like potential debuffs. You feel me? Anyways though, this is the build you want to be going 100% of the time. Next up is Cordelios. This little mushroom gremlin actually is really good against his tanks. I would say he's like high B tier, maybe low tier. Honestly, he's actually been priming more meta lately with the surge in tanks. But with star power, combo shrooms is what I like to go. You do a lot of extra damage, and if you're running the star power, I recommend going shield gear. The other star power is pretty good too, but me personally I like to do that damage. And for the gears, the reload gear is what I like to go with. The replanting one where you like jump over walls and stuff, you know what I'm saying, when you're trying to like escape, or you're like trying to like touch someone, like super jump and all that. It's pretty good. So yeah, it's that build when we're going. Next up is Kit. Ha 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 ha. It's all 11 Kit, second best. Remember that second best, all 11 Kit. Yeah, shut up. Anyways though, I would say Kid is like A tier. For the build, overly attached is the go-to. You really don't want to play Kid in Showdown. I think if you play Kid in Showdown, you need to get a job. Besides that though, if you're playing it anywhere else but Showdown, overly attached is where I probably want to go. Don't go Vision on Kid. That's just a meme. I like to go Shield with the catch cooldown. You could go Speed or Damage, but me personally, I think Kid is known for its gadgets, so you want to go the Reload one with the Shield because Kid does not have that much HP, and the gadget actually depends a lot on your playstyle. If you're just playing Kid by itself, Cardboard Box is the go-to, but if you're playing like Kid Darryl, like Kid with a tank, you could go the Cheeseburger, but besides that though, you want to be going the Cardboard Box. Next up is Drakington. Drake is actually one of the best tanks out there for hot zone. All you gotta do is like super in the zone, pop your gadget. I would say he's like B tier. For the build though, shredding is what you want to be going. You could honestly go the exposed star power and play him on heist. You like run down, mark the safe, and do a lot of damage. But besides that though, you always want to be going shredding. You heal when you're super. And for the gears, me personally, I like to go the reload super gear with the damage gear. You could also go like shield gear and then just have full survivability build. But me personally, this is the build you want to be going. And obviously, you want to be going the last stand. This is the reason why Draco is so good, because of his gadget, and paired up with the gadget cooldown. Every 20 seconds you get the gadget. So yes, the build is one. Last is finally Kenji. Kenji is definitely top 5 tanks in the game right now. I personally love playing Kenji. I would say he's A tier at least. Maybe low A tier considering he's not that good anymore, but he's really good still in every single mode if you know how to play him right. Alright, for this build though, I am not saying that. I am definitely not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not risking it. Nemesis. Nemesis, Nemesis. I'm not, yo, I'm definitely not saying how is that in the game. Anyways though, this is the start part I'm gonna be going. For the gears, speed and shield is 100%. Always go these two. And for the gadget, always go Hoso Maki healing. This is the only build you want to be going on Kenji 100% of the time. Don't go anything else. Anyways though, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you guys want to see more videos like this, please let me know down in the comment section. And I hope you guys have a nice juicy day.